Hello and welcome to Drama Recaps. Today we will delve into the 2019 American romantic drama film named After. Spoilers ahead. The story begins with a young lady, Tessa, stepping into her first day at a distant college. Her mom and boyfriend accompany her to help settle her into her new college dorm. Soon after, she meets two lovely girls, Steph and another girl named Tristan. The atmosphere changes when Tessa's mother detects the scent of marijuana. She's about to leave abruptly, but Tessa stops her, pleading with her to avoid causing a fuss. Reassured by Tessa's promise to be careful, her mother, filled with pride, says her goodbyes. Her boyfriend departs too, after a sweet peck on the lips. Back in the dorm, Tessa and Steph chat. When Steph hints that Tessa's brother is cute, Tessa clarifies that the boy is her boyfriend. Steph departs shortly after. On her first day of classes, Tessa's energy is palpable. She encounters a boy named Landon, who's studying English, unlike Tessa's choice of economics. Returning to her dorm after a refreshing shower, Tessa is taken aback to find an unfamiliar guy engrossed in a book. Demanding to know why he's there, the stranger assures her he's not interested in staring at her. Steph then shows up, introducing him as a friend. This friend taunts Tessa about attending a party that night, confident she'll decline. As he leaves, he ruins the ending of Tessa's current read, The Great Gatsby. The next day in the library, Tessa once again crosses paths with this guy. Their gazes lock momentarily, causing unease. Later, Steph urges Tessa to join them for a party. However, her choice of outfit raises eyebrows, with Steph suggesting it might be a tad too formal. At the party, amidst the revelry, Tessa meets Steph's circle. They nudge her into trying a drink. Despite her reservations, Tessa takes a shot, especially after a snide remark from one of the girls. A game of truth or dare begins. When Tessa picks truth, she's quizzed about her wildest romantic escapade. Choosing to sidestep the question, she picks dare next. The same familiar guy from earlier teases her about the dare, but Tessa's patience wears thin and she quits the game. She tries to connect with her boyfriend over the phone, but their conversation turns sour after he chides her for drinking. Later, she stumbles upon a secluded room filled with books. The teasing stranger appears yet again, curiously asking what she's up to. Tessa wonders if the young man is intoxicated, however, he assures her he doesn't drink, much like her. In a surprise, he tells her that the room is his, gently holding her hand. He playfully reminds her of their unfinished dare. They are close to sharing a kiss, but she hesitates and tells him she can't go through with it. As she's heading to her own room, her phone buzzes with messages from her boyfriend, Noah, which she checks before sleeping. The following day, she enters her classroom and takes a seat next to Landon, the familiar face from before. But the real revelation is that the mysterious guy from the party is named Hardin Scott. During a discussion about a romantic novel, Hardin gives his view that love is a simple matter of presenting desirable traits. It can be switched on or off, according to him. Tessa, on the other hand, counters his perspective, pointing out that in the novel, the female lead rejects a man who mistreats her, a notable act given the era. After a spirited debate, Hardin approaches her post-class to comment on how invigorating their exchange was. As she vents to Landon about Hardin's arrogance, Landon drops a bombshell. Hardin's dad is dating Landon's mom, and the two barely get along. That evening, as Steph gets inked, she nudges Tessa to consider a tattoo. Amidst their conversation, Tessa shares that she has only ever dated Noah and her mom expects them to marry someday. Later, Tessa catches a glimpse of Steph in a tender moment with her partner and discreetly turns away. The next morning, while grabbing a coffee, she's approached by Hardin. He suggests they start afresh, given their mutual connection through Steph. Although hesitant, Tessa eventually agrees to join him for a drive. Hardin takes her to a secluded spot resembling a jungle. After a short walk, they come upon a beautiful lake. Hardin shares that this is his special hideaway. Swiftly, he strips down and dives into the water. He encourages Tessa to join him, offering his t-shirt for modesty. While she changes, he respectfully looks away. Once in the water, they chat. When Tessa inquires about who he cherishes most, Hardin cheekily says it's himself. They talk about her boyfriend, Noah, and Hardin teaches her to enjoy the underwater silence. Their chemistry is undeniable, and while Hardin initially suggests they be friends, the intensity between them is clear. They share a passionate kiss. Afterward, he turns away to give her privacy to change. But, drawn to each other, they share another intimate moment. Every sensation from his touch quickened her breath. Later, the two of them found themselves in a bar. Tessa tried to probe into Hardin's past, but he deflected the question. Curious about his skepticism towards love, given his remarks in class, she asks him. With a playful demeanor, he tells her not to take everything he says seriously, eliciting a laugh from Tessa. Soon, Steph and another one of Hardin's friends join them. Hardin's behavior seems to shift, becoming more distant. He later admits to Tessa that while he enjoyed their time together, he doesn't pursue relationships. Tessa, thinking of confessing their escapade to her boyfriend, is taken aback by his statement. After she departs, a hint of regret appears on Hardin's face. Back in her dorm, Tessa awakens from a dream where Hardin was beside her. To her surprise, she finds her boyfriend, Noah, outside her room with flowers in hand. That evening, they both attend a party where Steph and her crew play a game called Suck and Blow. Tessa chooses not to participate, leading to a protective reaction from Noah. This draws Hardin's attention, causing tensions to flare and a fight ensues. Hardin storms off afterward. Later, as Tessa and Noah watch a movie together, she seems lost in thought. A call from Landon interrupts them. Meeting him, she learns of a dispute between Hardin and Landon, with her name being brought up. She discovers Hardin's distress over his father's impending marriage to Landon's mother, while his own mother is struggling in London. In his frustration, Hardin breaks a glass, which injures Tessa as she tries to clean up. He brings her to his room, remorsefully apologizing for his earlier behavior. Admitting to his own imperfections, Tessa acknowledges her own, leading to a tender moment between them. This results in Tessa spending the night in his room. The next day, she is met by a concerned Noah, who upon seeing Hardin, pieces together the previous night's events. Feeling betrayed, he walks away. Distraught, Tessa returns to her dorm, catching the attention of Molly. She's overwhelmed with emotions, feeling as if she's lost someone dear to her. Her sadness permeates her daily routine, and she struggles to reconnect with Noah. One afternoon, she bumps into Hardin. Neither expected the encounter. Opening up, Tessa recounts her past, her father's departure when she was only 10, and her mother's ensuing struggles. Throughout these trials, Noah had been a pillar of support for her. Noah was her closest friend, but he meant so much more to her, she admits. One day, just before the library was about to close, Hardin makes Tessa linger. With her seated on his lap, he engrosses himself in a book. When security spots them, a playful chase begins. They both dash out, laughing together. It was a moment neither would forget. Their growing closeness didn't go unnoticed by their circle. Sometimes, Hardin would barge into her class just to call her beautiful. On one occasion, Tessa spots Hardin jotting something down in his notebook. She's curious, but he playfully keeps it from her. Soon after, their romance heats up. But their intimate moment is disrupted when Tessa's mother walks in on them. Her mother's anger flares. She blames Tessa's roommate for the influence and fears that Tessa is throwing her life away over a boy. In the heat of the argument, Tessa stands her ground, declaring that she'll lead her life on her terms, not by her mother's design. This leaves her mother heartbroken and tearful. Before departing, she warns Tessa that Hardin will only end up hurting her and decides to cut off support. Later, she confides in Landon about the fallout, but he cautions her, saying Hardin is a complex person. To offer solace, Hardin introduces Tessa to a property owned by a friend of his father's, currently in Italy. He proposes they live there together. Given that her mother withdrew her support, Hardin's gesture was timely. They settle into their new home, cherishing their time together, relishing small joys, and exploring various places. Hardin often reflects on how fortunate he is to have Tessa. He feels undeserving, while she reassures him of her unwavering feelings. The couple later attends the wedding of Hardin's and Landon's parents. There, they meet Landon's mom, Karen, and his dad. Both warmly welcome Tessa. However, watching his dad with another woman stirs feelings of resentment in Hardin, and Tessa tries her best to soothe him. As Hardin's father steps up to deliver a speech, though he speaks highly of Hardin, he leans over to Tessa, revealing that the man praising him isn't the one he grew up knowing. He may have changed on the surface, but Hardin believes some things remain the same. He begins to recount a past event. In a bar one day, Hardin's father gets in trouble with some rough men. They later visit his home seeking revenge, and his real mother suffers because of it. Later, the two dance, gazing deeply into each other's eyes, leading to an intimate moment in a room. One day, Molly glares at Tessa with envy and tries to get information about Hardin from her, but Tessa stays tight-lipped. Molly sends a mysterious message from Hardin's phone that makes Tessa doubtful. She confronts Hardin, but he assures her there's no secret. Feeling restless, she gets a message from a friend to meet at Videodrome to discuss Hardin. There, Jade tells her to check Blind Bob's. At the place, she finds Steph and her pals. She admits to living off campus with Hardin. Molly drops a bombshell. She shows Tessa a video from their first game of Truth or Dare. Hardin dared to make Tessa fall for him and then leave her. Devastated, Tessa can't believe it. Hardin swears his feelings became real, but she flees. Tessa feels more alone than ever. At home, she finds solace in her mother's arms, apologizing and expressing her love. Later, she reconnects with Noah, sharing a lighthearted moment. Back at college, Tessa decides to switch her major from economics to English. Meanwhile, Hardin is heartbroken, reminiscing about their times together. Soon, Tessa gets news about an internship interview at Vance Publishing. During class, her professor hands her an envelope, revealing it's from Hardin and is more about Tessa's benefit. She discovers Hardin's sketches of her and reads his heartfelt note. He mentions reading countless stories but only recognizing love's reality after meeting her, his own Elizabeth Bennet. He speaks of how she brightened his dark world and ends with a plea for forgiveness. Once, she asked who he cherished most, and he admits it's always been Tessa.